like it was this morning.
Good, happy.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova, everyone. Shana. Thank you. If I could ask you to take your seat, we're going to begin the service. If you'd like to join with me, we're going to say the bracha, the blessing over the prayer shawl, over the talit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehit atef batzitzit.
Please join me. The words are easy. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai.
We're on page 184.
Onenu va'anenu Avinu malkeinu Chonenu va'anenu Ki ein banu ma'asim Aseh imanu Tzedakah v'chesed
Please rise as the ark is opened.
אבינו מכנו חזרנו אבינו מכנו היינו שנה טובה אבינו מכנו שלח רפואה שלמה לכל עמך אבינו מכנו רבנו אבינו מכנו זכרנו בזיכרון טוב לפניך אבינו מכנו כותבנו בספר חיים טובים אבינו מכנו כותבנו בספר גאולה וישועה אבינו מכנו כותבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה אבינו מכנו כותבנו בספר זכויות אבינו מכנו כותבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה אבינו מלכנו חוננו ועננו כי אין בנו מעשים
You may be seated for just a moment. That's going to open again really soon, I promise. Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.
Happy New Year. We're going to begin our service this afternoon with the Torah reading. We do a lot of different things on the holidays. We do a lot of different things for the Yamim Noraim, the high holy days. But one thing that is a constant is the reading of the Torah. For thousands of years, no matter what the conditions are outside, Jews come to a synagogue, they come to a place of community, of prayer, and they read the words of our tradition. This morning we're going to be reading words that have been read over and over again. We're going to be reading from the book of Genesis. We're going to talk about exactly what it is we're reading a little later. But as we do that, realize that we're not just sitting here in 2017 in Woodland Hills, California. When we open the Torah, when we take the Torah out and we read from it, we're hurtling back in time, connecting ourselves in practice to those who have come before us, those grandparents, great-grandparents, those who are no longer with us, who came together just like we did today. Maybe they dressed a little differently, maybe they sat a little differently, men and women, but they came together to read the Torah. And as we connect ourselves to that, let's be aware of the just monumental nature of what it means to continue a tradition that has lasted thousands of years. As much fun as brisket and dipping apples in honey and all of those things that Rosh Hashanah has come to be known as, it's about connecting to something greater than us. And as we open the ark, as we take the Torah out, we connect ourselves, we put in our lot with those who came before us, with our ancestors and the Jewish people. We turn now to page 192.
ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון תבנה חומות ירושלים תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך ערם ונישא אדון עולמים.
Like I said, please rise as we open the ark.
ויהי בנשוא אהרון, ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני, ויפוצו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, כי ציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
We turn to the top of page 194 for the 13 attributes of God.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chaynun, Erech Apayim, v'Rab Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed le'alavim, Nosei Avon v'Pesha, v'Chatan v'Nakei. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chaynun, Erech Apayim, v'Rab Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alavim, Nosei Avon v'Pesha, v'Chatan v'Nakei. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chaynun, Erech Apayim, v'Rab Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alavim, Nosei Avon v'Pesha, v'Chatan v'Nakei. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, וגואלי. ואני תפילתי לך אדוני, את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך. ענני, ענני באמת אישך. ואני תפילתי לך אדוני, את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך. ענני, ענני באמת אישך. ואני תפילתי לך אדוני, את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך. ענני, ענני
bottom of page 196.
הנרחץ ולשמי קדישה, קדישה יקירה נא הנאמר תושבחן איי 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 והנרחץ ולשמי קדישה, קדישה יקירה נא הנאמר תושבחן ירהבה קודמך דתפתח ליבי ליבי באורייתא והנרחץ ולשמי קדישה קדישה יקירה הנאמר תושבחן ותשלים משאלין דליבי וליבה דכל עמך ישראל והנרחץ ולשמי קדישה קדישה יקירה נא הנאמר תושבחן לטוב ולחיין ולשלום amen. Come closer. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh v'nora Shemo
Gadol Adonenu Kadosh v'nora Shemo
Gadol Adonai iti u'neramema Shemo yachadav Lecha Adonai hagdola והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי כה בשמיים ובארץ כי כה בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה תמיד נעשה לכל ראש רממו
Romemu
רממו
Romemu
אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לאדום רגליו קדוש רממו
Romemu
רממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
You may be seated.
Vayachzor, v'yagain, v'yoshia l'chol hachosim bo, v'nomar, amen. Hakol havu godel Eloheinu, nu chavod, la Torah, ya'amod rishon, Baruch shenatah Torah le'amo Yisrael, b'du shato.
Kulchem hayom.
Etem habekim b'Adonai Elohechem, chaim kulchem hayom.
It's so nice to have just one Siddur that also has the Torah readings in front of us. We don't have to switch books right now. You're going to have the same book. The Torah reading is going to be found on page 202, but just an introduction to what you were going to be reading. I mentioned earlier it comes from the book of Breshit, the book of Genesis. It's part of the story between Abraham and Sarah. I know that everyone here has had a marriage without bumps and at all, no disagreements along the way. But if you look at our ancestors, they had rocky relationships. I know, it's shocking, right? That's one of the great things about reading the Torah. When we read the Torah, we don't see perfect people. We don't see people who are on such a high level that we're afraid we can't live up to it. If you actually read what these people do, you're going to think of yourself a little nicer. You're going to be a little more kind to yourself in what you do and what you don't do. There are stories that, darling, they'll shock you. This reading that we have for the first day of Rosh Hashanah talks about one of these moments between Abraham and Sarah. They just had a child. Everything is glorious. They've been waiting. By the way, supposedly, Abraham was 100 years old when they had their first kid. So do with that information what you will. But they had their first child. But the truth is, it wasn't Abraham's first child. Abraham had already had a child, not with his wife Sarah, but with her maidservant, her midwife, if you will, with Hagar. So here we have the story of Isaac. You've heard of this guy, Isaac. You know, he ends up, spoiler alert, if you're here tomorrow, he's going to get bound in some stuff and he's going to have a narrow miss. So we know of Isaac, but Isaac's big brother, or half-brother, if you will, was a man named Ishmael. And as many kids, they didn't play nicely together. And the parents, being helicopter parents that they were, after all, they were Jews, they decided they were going to do something about it. And Sarah said, I don't want this child playing with my son. And she has every right to do that. So she says to Abraham, she says to her husband, I want you to send out Hagar and her son. I want you to send them out, to send out this slave woman and her son, banish them. Her son as well. We can debate until the cows come home whether or not that was harsh or she was advocating for her son. We don't always know where that line is between advocating for our own children and being aware of the surroundings. But if it was entirely the right thing, then what follows, what happens next, is truly unique. Because Hagar and her son do leave. They go into the middle of the wilderness. And where did they live? They lived in the desert. And so miles in any direction, there's not a 7-Eleven. There's no commons down the road for them. They were without food. They were without water. And Hagar sat down and gave up. And just so you know, she's not the villain in this story, and neither is her son. Because what happens next was a miracle. Hagar, this woman who was not Jewish, with her son Ishmael, they're about to give up, they're dying, and an angel appears before them. An angel tells them not to give up. An angel says, you will be okay, take care of your son. The angel says, what troubles you? Come, lift up the boy and hold him by the hand, and I will make a great nation of him. Here we have this boy who was not destined to be in the line of Bnei Israel, of the Jewish people, but who was destined for greatness. And his mother was a great enough woman that she merited prophecy. She merited an angel to come before her. And he says, I will make a great nation of him. And then we hear the words, and God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She had given up hope. She had expected to die. An angel appears before her, and after that interaction with the angel, she sees a well of water. There are two ways to look at this. One is God created a miracle, and this angel's presence created this well of water. But there's another way. A way that I think is actually more truthful, more interesting. Before the angel came, she couldn't see the well, even though it was there. But when she interacted with the angel, all of a sudden, this angel opened her eyes to what was actually right in front of us. Now, when we picture angels, we pictured, wings, a harp, and a halo, right? But it could have been a person, just a messenger. We have angels as well in our lives. If you have angels in your life with the halo and the harp, you can see a doctor for that one. But we have people who open our eyes to what we never knew, who open our eyes to possibilities that we can't see ourselves. And that's what Hagar experienced. After this interaction with an angel, she was able to sustain herself. She was able to live. As we begin this Rosh Hashanah, this period of reflection, I want you to think about the angels in your life. Who is it that opens your eyes to things you didn't know possible? And also, for whom can you be an angel? We're going to start our reading on page 202. It's chapter 21, verse 1.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vadonai pakad et Sarah ka'asher amar. Vayas Adonai leSarah ka'asher diber. Vatachar vatelet Sarah leAvraham bein lizkunav. Lamoed asher diber oto Elohim. Vayikra Avraham et Shem beno hanolad lo asher yelada lo Sarah Yitzhak. Vayamal Avraham et Yitzhak beno bein shmonat yamim ka'asher Sivaot Elohim.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaye olam nota betochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Ta'amol sheni.
The second aliyah can be found on page 203, chapter 21, verse 5. 202, sorry.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch
Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. V'Avraham b'me'at shana bivaled lo et Yitzchak beno v'tomer Sarah secho chasali Elohim kol hashomea Yitzchak li v'tomer mimi le'Avraham Eini kavanim Sarah Kielati velis kunda Vaigdo ayelet vaigamo Vayas Avraham ishte gado Beyo migamel Yitzchak.
Sarah et ben Hagar Hamitzrit Asher Yalda leAvraham Mesachek Vatomer lavraham Garesh Ha'ama hazot be'et bena Ki lo yirash ben ha'ama hazot Im beni im yischach Vayera hadavar me'od be'enei Avraham al odot beno Vayomer Elohim el Avraham al yera be'einecha al hana'ar ve'al amatecha kol asher tomar elecha Sarah shema bekola ki v'yitzchak yikare lecha Zara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'kayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. The third aliyah can be found on the top of page 204.
Ready? Baruch hu et Adonai HaBarak. Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu michal hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vegamed ben ha'ama legoya simenu ki zaracha hu veyashkem Avraham baboker veikach lechem vechemat mayim veyiten el Hagar sam al shichma ve'et hayeled vayeshalechecha Vatelech vateta bamidbar ba'er shava vayichlu hamayim min hachemet vatashlech et hayeled tachat achar hasichim vatelech vateshev la mineged harchek kimtachave keshet ki amira al bemot hayaled vateshev mineged vatisa et kola vatevk veshama vayishma Elohim et kol hanar vayikra malach Elohim el Hagar min hashamayim vayomer la malach Hagar al el tirei ki shama Elohim el kol hanar ba'asher husham.
Kumi sei et anar v'chasiki et yadek bo ki logoy gado asimenu vayivkach Elohim et einea v'tereh ber mayim v'telech v'tmaleh rachem et mayim v'tashke et anahar vayehi Elohim et anahar vayigdal vayeshev b'midbar vayirovek hashat vayeshev b'midbar paran v'tikach lo imo isha meretz Mizrayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'kayei olam nata b'sochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Amen.
Hamod with the E.
The fourth Aliyah can be found on the top of page 206.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi ba'et hahi vayomer Avimelech ufichol sar tzeva'o el Avraham lemor Elohim imecha bechol asher ata osem ve'ata hishavali Belohim heina im tishkor li ulanini ulanechdi kachesed asher asiti imecha taseh imadi ve'im haaretz asher garta ba vayomer Avraham anochi ishaveya Vehochiach Avraham et Avimelech Olodot Ba'er Hamayim Asher Gazlu Avdei Avimelech Vayomer Avimelech Lo Yadati Miasa et Hadavar Hazeh Vegamata Lo Higadeta Li Vegam Anochi lo shamati beauty hayom vayikach Avraham tzon uvakar vayitain la'avimelech vayichretu shenehem berit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amdu chamishi.
We're still on page 206.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarah. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nata lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayatsev Avraham et Sheva kivso tatzon levadehen. Vayomer Avimelech el Avraham ma heina Sheva kivasot ha'ele asher hisafta levadana. Vayomer ki et sheva kivasot tikach miadi ba'avor tihechli le'eda ki hafarti et ha'be'er hazot al ken kara lamakom ha'u be'er shava ki sham nishbe'u shinehem Vayikretu brit bivershava, vayakam Avimelech, ufikol sarsavaot, veyashuvu el eretz Pelishtim, vayita eshel bivershava, vayikra sham b'shem Adonai elolam, vayagar Avraham be'eretz Pelishtim, yamim rabim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nata lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nota b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Yama divrach erutei v'amlich malchutei.
B'chayechon v'yomechon u'b'chayedecho
Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala Uvizman Karim Vimaru Amen Yehi Shnei Rabba Mevora Leol Hamadol Leol Maya Yisbora
Ha'ar v'yidromam v'yidnaseh v'yid hadar v'yid haleh v'yid halal. Shemei dekudesh shabbat.
Brichu
Le'ela le'ela min kol ata b'shir ata.
Tushmecha
Tavenechem atadam
Dami Rabbi Alma
Amen.
Ya'amod ha'magbia ta'amod ha'golelet sefer rishon.
Please rise as the first Torah is raised and dressed.
Zot HaTorah
Asher sa Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
You may be seated. The Maftir Aliyah can be found on page 210 in your Machzors.
Ya'amdu maftir.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborah. Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Uvachodesh hashvi'i be'echad lachodesh mikra kodesh yeh lechem kol mlechet avodah lo ta'asu yom teruah yeh lechem. Hazitem olah l'reach nichoach l'Adonai par bein bachar echad ayel echad kevasim b'nei shana shiva timimim umin chatam solet b'lulav hashamen shalosha esronim lepar shnei esronim le'ayel ve'yisaron echad lachevesh ha'echad Leshivat hakvasim, usirizim echad hatat lechaper alechem milvad alat hachodesh umichata velota hatamin umichatam v'nisechem kamishbatam l'reach nichoach yishe l'Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amod ha'magbia ta'amod ha'golelet sefer.
Please rise as the second Torah is raised and dressed.
V'zot HaTorah
Asher sa Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai
You may be seated. In a moment, we're going to read the Haftarah for the first day of Rosh Hashanah. It comes from the book of Samuel, the first book of Samuel's. It was such a good book that they needed to make a sequel. So, this first book of Samuel opens just like our Torah, Breshit. We read of a husband and wife who cannot bear a child. And they're frustrated. They're struggling with infertility, a condition, a problem that we're all too familiar with nowadays. And they're struggling. They're angry. They're angry just like our ancestors who had difficulty bearing children. They're angry at God. And the hero of the story is not the husband, it's the wife. Because she goes to God, and the Haftarah, the text says she goes to God b'marat nefesh, with bitterness in her heart. She's so angry with God that she comes before God with bitterness in her heart to yell at God. And this woman, instead of being punished, instead of being marginalized, this woman is given the blessing of a child, and more so, this woman who's angry and talks to God through anger. That's really loud. No, it's okay. This woman who doesn't say nice things to God, but comes with bitterness. Those of you in my Talmud class, some of you are here this afternoon, we read about her. Chana becomes the model for prayer. Think about that for a second. This woman who's angry with God and who goes to God to yell and flail becomes the model that we all have to follow for prayer. She has such intensity, and she becomes the model. It shows us that we don't only have to come to God with praise and humility and, oh, you're so great, we're so little. That we can go to God with whatever emotion we're feeling. Not only that, but if we do, we'll be living up to her example. Too often we think that God should be treated with kid gloves, that we can only talk about God in a certain way, that God's going to get very angry. But God's a big boy or a girl. God can take it. Because the truth is, anger at God is an act of faith. Anger at God is an act of faith because we don't get angry at the tooth fairy or Santa Claus. We don't get angry when we are disappointed by things we don't believe in. We only get angry at those who disappoint us, those who we counted on, who we trusted. And so if we're angry at God, that means that we have faith in God, that we have trust in God. And so whatever emotions we're going to be spending a lot of this day praying, whatever emotions you have, God's a big boy or girl. God can take it. We're going to read right now the Haftarah on page 212.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hanemarim be'emed. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nviei hamet v'tzedek v'yehi ish echad min haramatayim sofim mehar Ephraim u'shmo Elkanah ben Yerocham ben Elihu ben Tohu ben Suf Ephrati velo shetei nashim shem achad Chana v'shem hashenit Penina vayhi lifnina yeladim ulchana ein yeladim ve'ala ha'ish hahu me'iro me'amim yamima Lishtachavot Velizboach Ladonai Tzevaot Beshilo Vesham Shnei V'nei Eli Chofni Ufinecha Kohanim Ladonai Vayehi Hayom Vayizbach Elkanah Venatan Lifnina Ishto Ulechol Baneha Uvnoteha Manot Ulchana Hitain Mana Achat Ahapaim Ki et Chana Ahev Vadonai Sagar Rachma V'chi asata sarata kam kaas ba'avur hare'ima ki sagar Adonai be'ad rachma v'chein ya'aseh shana v'shana midei alota beveit Adonai kein tach'isena V'tivkeh v'lo tochal Vayomer la Elkana isha Chana la metivki V'lame lo tocheli V'lame yera levavech Halo anochi tov lach Me'asarabanim Vatakom chana achare Ochela beshilo Ve'achare shato Ve'eli hakohen Yoshev al hakisei Al mezuzat Heichal Adonai Vehi marat nafesh, vetitpalel el Adonai, uvachotivke, vetidor neder, vatomar, Adonai tzevaot, imrao tire beone amatecha, uzchartani, V'lo tishkach et amatecha, v'natata le'amatecha zera anashim, untativ l'Adonai kol yemei chayav, umora v'lo asa al rosho, v'haya ki harbeta, lehid palel lifnei Adonai, Ve'eli shomeret piha Ve'chana hi medaberet aliba rak sefateha naot ve'kola lo yishamea ve'achsheveha eli leshikaro vayomer eleha Eli Admatai tishtakarin Hasiri et yenech me'alaich Vata'an chana vatomer lo Adoni Isha keshat ruach anochi Vayayin vashechar lo shatiti Ve'eshpoch et nafshi lifnei Adonai Al titain et amatecha lifnei bat Belial ki morev shechi v'chasi dibarti ad hena vayan Eli vayomer lechi leshalom Velo Israel, yitain et she'elatech, asher sha'alt me'imo. Vatomer timsa shivchatecha chen be'einecha vatelech ha'isha ledarka v'tochal ufaneha lo hayula od vayashkimu baboker vayishtachavu lifnei Adonai vayashuvu vayavo'u el beitam haramata vayeda Elkanah et Chana ishto vayizkereha Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol amim sadik bechol adorot ha'el haneman haomer ve'oseh hamdaber kayin shekol devarav emet v'tzedek Neman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'nemanim devarecha v'rabarech ad midbarecha achor lo yashuv rekam ki el melech neman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai ha'el haneman bechol devarav Rachem al Zion ki hi veit chayenu v'laluvat nefesh toshia bimheira b'yameinu Baruch atah Adonai mitzameach Zion b'vaneha Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu Beliahu hanavi avdecha umalchut Beit David mishichecha bimhera yavo ve'agel libenu al kisolo yeshev zar velo yinchalu od acherim et kevodo ki v'shem kadshecha nishbat halo shelo yichpe nero leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Magen David Ala Torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvim ve'al yom hazikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umbarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed udvarecha emet v'kayam la'ad baruch atah Adonai melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael ay 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 melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron
Amen. Yasher Koach. It's now my honor to call up our elected official, Congressman Brad Sherman. You're pulling double duty today, I guess. He was here this morning and he's joined us again this afternoon. It's so great to see him. He is going to lead us in a prayer for our country. And I'll leave it at that. So we're on page 236 for the prayer for our country.
Rabbi, you commented that I was here for the morning service, and some people here are wondering, why is he attending two services? But others who are here are aware of the magnitude of the sins for which I need to atone. And they are wondering whether two services would be sufficient. Page 236. Our God and God of our ancestors, we invoke your blessings upon our country, on the government and leaders of our nation, and on all who exercise rightful authority in our community. Instruct them out of your law, that they may administer all affairs of state in justice and equity. May peace and security, happiness and prosperity, right and freedom forever abide among us. Unite the inhabitants of our country, of all backgrounds and creeds, into a bond of true kinship to banish hatred and bigotry and to safeguard our ideals and institutions of freedom. May this land be your providence, be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, and helping to fulfill the vision of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For all people, great and small, shall know the Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Congressman. We continue now, there she is, on page 250 with the Ashrei.
Ashrei Oshrei Vetecha Ojehalu Hasela.
Ashreya am shekacha lo, Ashreya am sh'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, Aromim ha'Elohai ha'melech, Vavar hashim ha'leolam va'ed.
B'chol yom avarchecha, v'yalav shimcha leolam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai mechulo me'od, ve'ligdo ato ein heker.
Dor ledor yishmach ma'asecha, u'gvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kevod hodeha, ve'diveni floteha asiha.
Ve'ezuz noratecha yomeru, u'gdulatcha asaprena.
Zeherav tu hayabi'u, ve'tzid kat ha'iraninu.
Chanun v'rachum Adonai, erach apai ugdal chesed.
Tov Adonai lakov, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yoduch Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Kevod malchutayo meru, ure tahaya da beru.
L'hodir libdei adam kverotav, u'chvod hadar malchuto.
Malchutaha malchut kol olamim, umem sheltaha beholdor vador.
Somech Adonai l'chol hanoflim, v'zokef l'chol hakfufim.
Eine chol echayasa beru, ve'atano ten lahem etochlam ve'ito.
Poteach et yadecha, u'maspia l'chol chai ratzon.
Sadik Adonai beholder ahav, ve'hasid behol ma'asav.
Karov Adonai l'chol korav, l'chol asher yigreu ve'emet.
Retzon Yerav Ya'aseh, ve'et shavata yishma ve'yoshiem.
Shomer Adonai et kol avav, ve'et kol reshaim yashmid.
Tehillah Adonai yedaber pi, vivarech kol basar shem kocho le'am va'ed.
V'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah. In just a moment, we're going to begin the shofar service. One of the most important rituals of Rosh Hashanah. The shofar ritual is a reminder that these days of repentance, these high holidays, are not a spectator sport, that we are active participants. The shofar exclaims, "Wake up from your slumber. Examine your deeds and turn in repentance. You sleepers who forget the truth while caught up in the fads and follies of the time, frittering away your years in vanity and emptiness which cannot help. Take a good look at yourselves. Improve your ways," the shofar says. "Let everyone abandon their bad deeds and their wicked thoughts. When the Holy One, on Judgment Day, begins to judge, God ascends the throne of strict judgment. As it is written, the God of judgment has ascended. But when the people Israel, standing in judgment, sound the shofar, the Holy One is moved. The Holy One is filled with mercy and moves to the throne of compassion." The shofar is not a passive moment. It's a moment of active listening. We're going to begin the shofar service on page 243.
Min min hametzah, karatia, anani v'merchavia. Shamato, Atalemus Nefo, Liravachati, Lishavati, Nani V'Merchavia. Rosh Devaracha.
On page 243, there's an English reading. We're not going to read it out loud. We're not going to read it all together because this is a time for personal reflection. So take a moment to read the silent prayer. Now let's read together on page 244. We'll read responsively. May the sound of the shofar shatter our complacency and make us conscious of the corruptions in our lives.
May the sound of the shofar penetrate our souls and cause us to return to our Creator in truth.
May the sound of the shofar break the bonds of our enslavement to the evil impulse and enable us to serve the Lord with a whole heart.
May the sound of the shofar renew our loyalty to the one true God and strengthen our determination to defy the false gods.
May the sound of the shofar awaken us to the enormity of our sins and the vastness of God's mercy for those who truly repent.
May the sound of the shofar summon us to service and stir us to respond as did Abraham.
May the sound of the shofar recall the moment when we stood at Mount Sinai and uttered the promise, all that the Lord has spoken we will keep and obey. May the sound of the shofar recall the vision of the prophets of the day when all people will live in peace. May the sound of the shofar remind us that it is time to proclaim liberty throughout the land to all the inhabitants thereof. May the sound of the shofar enter our hearts, for blessed is the people that hearkens to its call. We're on page 245.
Baruch atah.
Please rise.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kirshanu mitzvotav vetzivanu lishmoa kol shofar.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Tekiah. Shivarim Trua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim Trua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim Trua. Tekiah. Let's read together on the top of page 246. Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the shrill, quivering notes of the shofar, sounding its message of warning, its cry of alarm and awakening, urging us to labor together to combat war and violence. Accept the challenge to battle against fear, hate, and destruction. Remove from your midst all oppression. Banish all greed and contention. Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the blast that is blown, O my people. Tekiah. Shavarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim. Tekiah. Let's read together on the bottom of page 246. Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the loud clarion call of the shofar, bringing new hope to the suffering and strength to those stricken with sorrow, bringing to Israel assurance of healing, peace, and redemption. Renew your faith and devotion to God's Torah, people, and land. Remember the covenant and fashion a kingdom of law and compassion. Give heed to the sound of the shofar, the blast that is blown, O my people. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah.
Ashrei ha'am yodei trua Adonai be'or panecha yahalechun.
Return again,
You may be seated. I'd like to call up at this time the president of our community, of our congregation, for announcements. No, it's just me. Okay. Just a couple of announcements then. All right. I'm going to announce that the teen service for 7th and 8th graders begins at 2:30 in room 1 and room 10. So I believe if you are in 7th or 8th grade, and they card at the door. So if you're an adult that's trying to get out of here, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to make it. But that's now the time. There's also children's services going on as well. When we come together to pray, most of our prayers are said in the plural. Even when we beat our chests, we say, we have sinned against you. We do this, and we pray for this, for our community, for all of these people. It's an interesting thing to come to a community and pray, because it's such a solitary, such a personal matter. And of those prayers, one of the most interesting and personal prayers is the Hineni prayer. The Hineni prayer will be sung by our Chazan. It's a prayer that speaks of humility. It's a prayer that says, who am I to pray on behalf of this community? After all, I'm just a man. We happen to have a remarkable man as our Chazan, but a flawed, beautifully flawed, and purely human man. That's what these holidays are about. It's about realizing our imperfections and transcending them anyway. It's about saying, yes, I do things wrong, but I'm not going to be limited by that anymore. I am going to make an effort to improve, to show myself worthy, not of necessarily even exterior judgments, but of our own, sometimes incredibly cruel judgments. This holiday is about forgiveness. And at times, it's easier to forgive others than it is ourselves. The Hineni prayer speaks of humility, the humility necessary to pray. The humility to say, I don't know everything. I am an imperfect being, but I am coming before you, God. I am coming before all, warts and all, imperfections on display. The Hineni prayer, if you want to follow along, it can be found on page 279.
אני ממס נרעש ונפחד מפחד יושב תהילות ישראל באתי לעמוד ולהתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל שלחוני פי שאיני חדוי והגון לכך. לכן אבקש ממך, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אלוהי ישראל, שדי היום ונורא, היה מצליח דרכי, אשר אני עולה לעמוד ולבקש. רחמים עלי ועל שולחי, נא אל תפשיחן בחטאותי ואל תחייבם בעוונותי, כי חוטא ופושע אני. ואל יקלמו בפשעי, ואל יבושו הם בי, ואל אבוש אני בהם. קבל תפילתי, כי תפילת זקן ורגיל, ופרקו נאה וזקנו מגודל, וקולו נעים ומעורב בדעת עם הבריות. כי אתה שומע תפילת עמך ישראל ברחמים. O God, hear the prayers of my people and answer them with mercy. Baruch atah shomea tefillah.
Amen. Page 266 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש יתקדש שמי רבה ועלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייך וביומך ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגרו בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמירה במבורח ועולי עמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה מכל ברכתה ושירת כשבחתה ונחמת דממן בעלמה ואמרו
Please rise for the Amidah, the silent prayer. This is one of those moments of silent reflection. The traditional words of the silent Amidah can be found on page 268 through page 278. For interpretive Amidah blessings, please see page 890.
Shem Adonai, Hey Yisrael, Mimini, Michael, Mismoli Gavriel, Umilfanai Uriel, Umeachorai Refael, Ve'al Roshi, Ve'al Roshi, Shechinat Hei, B'Shem Adonai, Elohei Yisrael, Mimini, Michael, Umismoli Gavriel, Umilfanai Uriel, Umeachorai Refael, Ve'al Roshi, Ve'al Roshi, Shechinat Hei, Yai Lai, Yai Lai, Yai Yai
In the name of God, the God of Israel, we bless all of us with the protection of the angels. On either side, we have Michael and Uriel. Raphael is in front of us, and all of the angels, and resting upon us is the presence of God as we enter into this Musaf service in the Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. As we say the words asking us to be inscribed of the book of life, we're remembered that we're surrounded at all times and in all places by angels, by holiness. We begin the repetition of the Amidah on page 280. As the ark is opened, I ask you to please rise.
Ay, 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 Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Hagal, Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel, Chasadim, Tovim. Yaakov v'zochech kasdei avot u'mevi goel livnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava yisod hachachamim u'nevonim u'melemed da'at mevinim הבטחה כפי בתפילה ובתחנונים לחלות ולחנן פני מלך מלכי המלכים ואדוני האדונים זכרנו בחיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך מלך חפץ בחיים וכותבנו בספר החיים למענך למענך אלוהים חיים איי 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 Jose Rufakir Mashiach Umagain Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Abraham Ufoked Sarah Amen. Please be seated. אתה גיבור לי אמרנו בחיים מתים אתה רב להושיע בחיים וחסד בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופים ברופן חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונים
Mashiach Yeshua. Mi chamocha av harachamim zocher zocher yitzura l'chaim berachamim v'ne'eman atal hachayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hametim.
Amen. We take a moment now. They'll be up on the slides or in the center and in your songbooks as we turn our attention from ourselves to those who are in need of healing, those who are in need of a refuah shlema, a complete recovery. Whether it's a recovery from a physical illness, addiction, mental illness, whatever it is, we think of those who are in need of a prayer. Maybe they're in this room, maybe they're not, but wherever they are, we send out our prayers of healing. On this day, one of the holiest days of the Jewish year, we take a moment of our focus on ourselves to focus on others as we say the Rifa'enu prayer.
Rifa'enu Adonai God, only you can bring true healing, and so we pray. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Shekhinah, who restores our loved ones, heal our people speedily in our day. V'nomar Amen. Please join us. Blessed are you, Shekhinah, who restores our loved ones, heal our people speedily in our day, and let us say,
in a moment, we're going to reopen the ark. We're going to say the Unatana Tokef prayer. Arguably, the focus of this entire service is this prayer that comes up next, in which we say that we are like sheep passing by the shepherd. We await our judgment. We ask, who shall have this and who shall have that? And we'll get to that in a moment. Who by fire, who by water, who shall live and who shall die. But life and death isn't always so binary. It's not just that we're living or that we're dead, but what kind of life are we living? I'd like to read you an interpretation of the Unat Hanatokef. When we really begin a new year, it is decided, and when we actually repent, it is determined. Who shall be truly alive and who shall merely exist? Who shall be happy and who shall be miserable? Who shall attain fulfillment in their day and who shall not attain fulfillment in their day? Who shall be tormented by the fire of ambition and who shall be overcome by the waters of failure? Who shall be pierced by the sharp sword of envy and who shall be torn by the wild beast of resentment? Who shall hunger for companionship and who shall thirst for approval? Who shall be shattered by the earthquake of social change and who shall be plagued by the pressures of conformity? Who shall be strangled by insecurity and who shall be stoned into submission? Who shall be content and who shall wander in search of satisfaction? Who shall be serene and who shall be distraught? Who shall be at ease and who shall be afflicted with anxiety? Who shall be poor in their own eyes and who shall be rich in tranquility? Who shall be brought low with futility and who shall be exalted through achievement? But repentance, prayer, and good deeds have the power to change the character of our lives. Let us resolve to repent, to pray, and to do good things so that we may begin truly a new year. Please rise as we're on page 282 and the ark is opened.
קדושה כי אתה אלוהינו מלך.
Let's read together on the top of page 283 in English. We proclaim the great sanctity of this day, a day filled with awe and trembling. On this day, O Lord, we sense your dominion, and we envision you on the throne of judgment, judging us in truth, but with compassion. You indeed judge and admonish, discerning our motives and witnessing our actions. You record and seal, count and measure. You remember even what we have forgotten. You open the book of remembrance, and the record speaks for itself, for each of us has signed it with deeds.
ונתן תוקף קדושת היום כי הוא נורא ואיום ובוא תנשא מלכותך ויהון בחסד כיסך ותשב עליו באמת ותזכור כל הנשכחו ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות ומעליו יקרא וחותם יד כל אדם בו.
Let's read together the second paragraph on page 283. The great shofar is sounded, and a still small voice is heard. Even the angels are dismayed. In fear and trembling they cry out. The day of judgment has arrived, for even the heavenly hosts. And On this day, all of us pass before you, one by one, like a flock of sheep. As a shepherd counts sheep, making each of them pass under the staff, so you review every living being, measuring the years and decreeing the destiny of every creature.
ושופר גדול ייתקע וכל דממה דקה יישמע ומלאכים יחפזו וחיל ורעדי יוחזון ויאמרו הנה יום הדין School בעיניך וכל באי עולם יעברו לבניך כי בני כבקרת רועד רו מעביר צאנו תחת שבטו כבקרת רועד רו מעביר צאנו תחת שבטו כן תעביר ותספור ותספור ותמנה ותפקוד נפש ותפקוד נפש כל חי כבקרת מעביר צאנו תחת שבטו כבקרת רועד רו מעביר צאנו תחת שבטו ותחתוך קצבה לכל בריאה ותכתוב את גזר דינה בראש השנה יכתבו וביום צום כיפור יכתבו בראש השנה יכתבו וביום צום כיפור יכתבו.
We're on the top of page 284. As Chazan Stein reads the Hebrew, we will follow in English, starting at the top, the first full paragraph.
כמה יעברון וכמה ייבראון.
How many shall leave this world, and how many shall be born?
מי יחיה ומי ימות.
Who shall live and who shall die?
בראש השנה יכתבו וביום צום כיפור יכתבו לראש השנה יכתבו וביום צום כיפור יכתבו מי בקיצור ומי לא בקיצור.
Who in the fullness of years and who before?
mi va'esh umi v'mayim.
Who shall perish by fire and who by water?
Mi v'cherev umi v'chayo.
Who by sword and who by a wild beast?
Mi v'rav umi v'tzama.
Who by famine and who by thirst?
Mi v'rash umi v'magifo.
Who by earthquake and who by plague?
Mi v'chanikor umi v'skilo.
Who by strangling and who by stoning?
Berosh Hashanah yikatevu, uv'yom Tzom Kippur yechatevu. Berosh Hashanah yikatevu, uv'yom Tzom Kippur yechatevu. Mi yanuach u'mi yanuach.
Who shall rest and who shall wander?
Mi yishaket u'mi yitoref.
Who shall be serene and who disturbed?
Mi yishalev u'mi yityasor.
Who shall be at ease and who afflicted?
Mi ye'oni u'mi ye'asher.
Who shall be impoverished and who enriched?
Mi shafer u'mi yaru.
Who shall be humbled and who exalted?
Uteshuva, utefila, utzedakat. Marin et roa at zera.
You may be seated. We're on the bottom of page 284.
Emet, ki ata hu yotzram, ata hu yodea yitzram, ki heim basar vadom. Yesodo me afar Adam yesodo me afar vesofo le afar. Benafsho yavi lachmo. Adam mashu kecheres hanishbar. Adam mashu kechatzir yavesh. Adam mashul uchzit nover. Uchzit nover. Sofo le afar kitzel over Adam mashul. וכענן קלה, אדם משום. וחבק פורח החלום. יסודו מעפר וסופו לעפר.
Hello, everyone. Hey. Chazan, could you do me a favor? That stand right there in the corner, right? I can't see everybody right there. Who is that behind there? Oh, look at there. They came back to life. Look at you all. How's your rush? It's very talented that way. Let's just move it back. Thank you so much, Chazan. That's good too. How's your Rosh Hashanah going? Let me ask one more time. How's your Rosh Hashanah going? Now that's a Temple Aliyah Rosh Hashanah. That's a Shana Tova that you want. I want to tell you a story about the Book family. Do you know, some of you know Michelle and Corey Book? They were in the earlier service, and when I got to tell this story, they went to Israel this summer to celebrate their youngest child, Noah, only boy, his bar mitzvah in Israel. And they've celebrated their daughter's bat mitzvah 5 years ago, Ellie, the oldest one. And I happened to be studying in Israel, the Hartman program, my fellowship, and they came to Israel. I was able to join them at the Kotel. It was so beautiful, and we walked down to Robinson's Arch, that area where you have egalitarian prayer, and men and women can come together and share. And it was just so beautiful. And then 5 years later, they arranged for Noah's. And the same preparations that they made with the people to go to do it at the Kotel in the same area. And Noah learned his portion for Rosh Chodesh, a Sunday. Normally we don't read Torah on Sundays, but it was a Rosh Chodesh. And so the new month. So he read that Torah reading. And the service was set to begin at 10 a.m., just after the rush hour of the B'nai Mitzvah activity. If you've ever been there, you know what I mean. Right? What could go wrong with this setting? Did I mention that it was Rosh Chodesh? Yes. Do any of you know what happens at the Kotel on Rosh Chodesh, the new month? Since 1988, a group called Women of the Wall show up every month and demand their right to read Torah, be able to put on the talit, and to do so together at the Kotel. And there's no place for them to do that. These 29 years, every month they go. Sometimes they're successful in creating a niche in where they can do this. Often, by the way, it ends up in a melee that looks much like a rugby scrum. Right? I mean, it can actually get violent. Right? It's the ultra-Orthodox who believe that there's heresy at its height. And that's what happens every Rosh Chodesh. The time was set by the organizers for the Book family to avoid all this, because that happens about 8 o'clock, and hopefully it clears out by about 10 o'clock. But they were in a new area of the wall that was actually supposed to be for this new egalitarian spirit, and I'll talk about it in a moment, in the relationship, an agreement with the government. So they're on this platform just about to start, and one of the ultra-Orthodox guys from the morning was still looking for another fight. So he walked onto their platform and he starts praying at the back of it in the loudest, most obnoxious voice you could imagine. But he's praying. What was his intention? To stop them from being able to do their service. And he kept doing it loudly and loudly, as loud as he could. They'd come and they'd talk to him and say, please, it's a bar mitzvah. Like, come. They came all the way from Los Angeles. You think he cared? Like, he felt like for him, this is a mitzvah. He kept going back and forth, and finally, must have been about 30, 40 minutes later, coordinators were able to move them down below to the other section where we had Ellie's bat mitzvah, and we were able to get away from the stalker. And how different their two trips were after 5 years. The first one, they fell in love with Israel. Oh, it was great. The second one, though, they got to know part of the real Israel. They got to know that Israel is not a perfect country. They still love Israel, but they just now know that Israel has its struggles, and sometimes even among Jews. See, there's no such thing as a perfect country. You all know that. Just take America, right? Yeah. During our nearly 250 years, there's much to be proud of. Great accomplishments, both domestic and abroad. But we're not perfect. We have the ugly past of slavery. How about our treatment of Native Americans? Nothing to be proud of there. What about the gathering of Japanese Americans in World War II? Right? We have many things to atone for. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, wherever you are, whatever side of the aisle you are, I bet that there is something that's happened in the last 20 years that you think we need to repair. No matter what side you're on. You see, that's the greatness of being in America, to be self-reflective, to be proud of our past, still even with its imperfections, to have a great sense of hope for the future, and yet to know that we are imperfect. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the same of Israel, right? There's no utopia. This past summer, I had the great experience of going to Israel, and I've been there dozens and dozens of times, and this time with AIPAC and their educational arm, American Israel Education Fund. And we got to travel all around Israel to hear from the newest people in terms of what's happening internally and what happens with the struggles and the fear of war from the north, which they're just waiting for Hezbollah again to attack. We experienced firsthand the great humanitarian work that Israel is doing for Syrians who are injured in their civil war. Do you know about this? In the last 4 years, 3,000 Syrians have been treated in Israel, medical attention. I mean, that's remarkable. You won't read about this in the press. We visited the Western Galilee Hospital in Nahariya, where they actually have underground, like a parking structure, in which they're prepared at the first missile fired to move everything down below ground. The helicopter can land down right at the ground level. They can bring people in. They can move because that's how you have to live. They've been treating Syrians here because it's up in the north. We got to visit 3 Syrians who, by the way, have to be in a special ward, and they have a guard there, not because they're afraid of their necessary violence, but amongst each other. They don't know who's together, which parties. And so they have to make sure that they're safe. There was one of them there who had gone through 12 surgeries already for a face that had been blown off by a bomb. And he's going to have many more surgeries as well. You know, some of them come with a sense of knowing they're going to be treated well, and others have this image they've been given in Syria that Israel is the demon, the enemy, and all they do is want to kill you. And so when they meet Dr. Masad Barhoum, who's an Arab Israeli, and he's the director of the hospital, an Arab Israeli, they know that Israel is not quite what they've been taught. And so they have doctors who speak Arabic, and the nurses and everybody who treats them. The community around them comes in and gives them clothing and food, whatever they need. We heard the story about one boy, I don't remember if he was 6 or 7, but they were afraid. By the way, when you go back, you have to be careful who you tell that you've been treated in Israel. Would we all agree when you go back to Syria? There are certain parties that it's not going to work well for them to know. So they're afraid the 6 or 7-year-old boy who might betray his family and shared that he had been in Israel. So what did they do? His room, everything was in Arabic. All the medication was in Arabic. Every doctor and nurse and social worker that came in was an Arab Israeli who spoke Arabic. The kid left never knowing he was really in Israel. Is that amazing? But his family knew. His family is with him. It's the great deeds that Israel is performing. It's remarkable, the humanitarian efforts, and they're everywhere. They're the first ones in the face of disaster from around the world to send in medical teams and to help out. One of our final meetings in Israel was with Natan Sharansky, the very well-known Soviet refugee. You know Natan Sharansky? Some of you might have even worn a bracelet in those days for his freedom. And he met with us, a group of rabbis who were about 18, and he apologized. And he said, "I'm so sorry." This was right after the government had put a freeze on the decision and the agreement to build the egalitarian area at the wall, at the Kotel. He said, "I'm embarrassed. The government made a commitment to you. You have fought hard, reform, conservative, women of the wall. It's a shanda," he said. It's an embarrassment. He said, by the way, he who had led this effort, 4 years of negotiations, 4 years by Natan Sharansky a year and a half ago, just to have it go by the way. And how did he find out? Not from the government. He heard it on the radio. So he was driving in his car. He said, "I'm embarrassed." The tension that's in Israel sometimes is reflected in the fact that if you don't know that non-Orthodox Jews and the movements are third-class citizens. When it comes to supporting non-Orthodox movements and rabbis, it's just not there. Whether it is paying for the salaries of rabbis who serve congregations, which in Israel is paid by the government for Orthodox, providing funds for education, acknowledging weddings. I think most of you know I can't officiate a wedding in Israel and have it recognized by the state, especially the issue of non-Orthodox conversions. Right? When Sharansky spoke, he just was so sorry because he said, "You need to be here." You see, could you imagine the United States over the last 100 years without a conservative movement? Can you imagine what American Jewry would be without the richness of the conservative movement over the last 100 years? And yet, the Jews in Israel aren't given that opportunity. And it's a fight, every single piece of it. I love Israel. I always will support Israel. Every year I dedicate this moment just to talk about Israel. Right? This is not the sermon moment. This is just to talk about Israel. Next year, I'll be going to APAC again, and I hope you'll join me. Many of you, how many of you have been to APAC with me, the National Policy Conference? Anybody in this room? That's it? Nobody? You have to come. Where? There you go, in the back. All right. So I want more of you to come. Diana Turk is going to be helping me. Howard Groves is going to be helping me. All right. You're going? All right. We got to take her. I feel like I'm at the auction there. Jen, I'll see you in Washington, D.C. I want you to join us because I believe in lobbying for Israel. In addition, Rhodey and I are leading another trip to Israel this coming summer for families, for individuals, couples, whoever wants to go. We'd love you to join us. It's an amazing trip. And every year, I talk about Israel bonds. That's what this moment is as well. So some of you may have them in your seats and other places. You may not have them out on the table, though. There should be a table where you can find the purchase cards. It's a solid investment. It should be in everybody's portfolio. If I had a portfolio, by the way, the only thing in my portfolio are the bonds. So I'm a firm believer. I want you to believe in Israel. I want you to support Israel. When Jews do this, it's not just a solid investment. You're helping family. But this year, I want you to do something in addition. I want you to support a cause that's for the conservative Masorti movement. We have to now stand up and make a difference. It's time. It's an amazing, it's an important group. We'll be sending out more information to you. I want you to be able to have it and support Israel. Israelis need alternatives to orthodoxy. I love Israel. This is part of Israel that I really mourn for. And so we're going to make it our obligation. We have helped build the state of Israel, haven't we? Right? Since its birth in 1948, we have helped Israel. Now it's not about Israel's physical security. It's not the issue. It's a fight for the soul of Israel. Right? The real essence of what it means to be a Jewish state. I hope you'll support that. You're going to continue back in the Machzor because we have a reading here on page 286. What are you doing? We're going to skip that page. I just stepped in here, Rabbi. What page would you like to do?
First we're going to do Yerushalayim Shel Zahav.
Let's do Yerushalayim Shel Zahav. Let's sing Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, and then we're going to finish with the Kedusha. Then let's go on.
Yerushalayim Shel Zahav.
Come on, join along the words.
V'shel nechoshet
v'shel or
halo lechol shirayich ani kinor kinor.
Now we turn back to the Machzor on page 288. I'm going to ask you all to please rise for the Kedusha.
נריצך ונקדישך כבוד שיח שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך וקודש ככתוב ביד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא הארץ כבודו כבודו מלא עולם משרתיו שואלים זה לזה איה מקום כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך אדוני ממקומו הוא ייתן ברכה ואחר עמם יחד עם שמו ערב הבוקר בכל יום תמיד בהמים באהבה שמה אומרים שמה אלוהינו אדוני אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא מושיענו הוא אלוהינו אבינו הוא מלכנו מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני Adir, Adirenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Eloheinu. Madir Shimcha bechol haaretz, Madir Shimcha bechol haaretz, V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, haaretz. ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד.
כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, גדול וקדוש אתה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד.
כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, גדול וקדוש אתה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח
נצחים
קדושתך נקדיש.
Please stay standing as we turn now to page 292 and the ark is opened.
וכל מאמינים שהוא אל אמונה, הבוחן ובודק גנזי נסתרות, וכל מאמינים שהוא בוחן כליות, הגואל ממוות ופודה משחת, וכל
מאמינים,
וכל מאמינים, וכל מאמינים שהוא טוב לכל, היודע יצר כל יצורים, וכל מאמינים שהוא יוצרם בבטן, הכל יכול וכל עולם יחד, וכל מאמינים שהוא כל יכול. וכל מאמינים, וכל מאמינים,
You may be seated ever so briefly. We turn now to page 298.
ותמלוך אתה אדוני לבדך על כל מעשיך, בהר ציון משכן כבודך, ובירושלים עיר קודשך, כך כתוב בדברי קודשך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין אלוה מבלעדיך, ככתוב, ויבלע אדוני צבאות במשפט, והאל הקדוש נקדש בצדקה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלך הקדוש.
In just a moment, we're going to pray the Aleinu, excuse me. The Aleinu is a prayer many of you know. It's how we conclude every Shabbat morning service, and we bow every time we do it, but on Rosh Hashanah, we do it a little differently. The Torah describes many, many times when people are asking for God's mercy or guidance, and it says, Vayipol al panehem, and they fell on their face. That's what we're going to do this afternoon. We're going to take the bow that we normally do during the Aleinu, and we're going to go all the way to the ground. You'll see Chazan and myself, the people up here will be bowing, some of them will be bowing all the way to the ground. Please, if you would like to do so, feel free to. Make sure you have enough space. If you're in the aisle, if you're not in the aisle, if you're in the row, it may be very difficult. So make yourself some space. For now, we're on page 302. We're going to open the ark, please, and we rise.
Of my mouth and the meditation of my heart find favor before you, my rock and my redeemer and my redeemer. גורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו לפני מלך, מושבי קרוב בשמיים נמאו, שכינה תוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת, מלכנו אפס זולתו. כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשב אותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת. אין עוד, אין עוד. Join with us, yalai la la la, yalai la la la, yalai la la la, yalai la la, yalai la la la, yalai la la, yalai la la, yalai.
Come on, it's Rosh Hashanah. It's our new year. You may be seated. Feel your heart moving? That's Rosh Hashanah. You're alive. I want to share with you a story about a woman named Bonnie. That's not her real name. But Bonnie was sitting in my office, sitting in front of me. She had an appointment. She had called the synagogue about conversion. Nothing about her, he didn't know. I probably get 12 calls a year from people just out of the blue who are considering conversion. So she was in my office. My assistant Lisa had set up the appointment, and they come in. I have no idea their story. And everyone's different. Sometimes these are people in their 20s, sometimes in their 40s. Sometimes, by the way, they have a serious Jewish boyfriend or girlfriend already. And other times, by the way, they're single and they just want to pursue Judaism. I just recently, and it happens occasionally, a woman who's divorced with 3 kids, and she wants now to pursue Judaism. Her husband wasn't Jewish, her kids are not Jewish, and her youngest one is going to be going through conversion with her. Everyone is a unique story, but Bonnie, not her real name, was sitting in front of me, and so before we could even talk, she said, Rabbi, I just have to ask you a question before we start. Said, you know, I have a coworker, and when I told him I was thinking about converting to Judaism, this coworker said to me, you know, if you're not born Jewish, you can't ever really be Jewish. Whew. I looked into Bonnie's eyes. I could see the pain of her question. She shared with me how through growing up and even through college that some of her best experiences were with Jewish friends that she had. She told me that actually that most of the men she had dated were Jewish because she just felt more comfortable with them. She very much wanted to consider becoming Jewish, but not if people wouldn't consider her Jewish. Not if Jews wouldn't consider her. It's not the first time I've heard this question. I'm going to tell you about once a year. I get this question from a Jew by choice, and some of you I see who actually became Jew by choice nodding your head in recognition of that comment and question. Like Bonnie, for someone considering conversion to Judaism, the quest for Jewish identity frames the question of what it means to be Jewish, right? What does it mean to be Jewish? But for most Jews who are not born Jewish, and for whom Jewish identity is an assumption rather than a journey, the question is very different. It's so funny, I'm looking out at you and recognizing so many people who became Jews by choice and who have enriched our community. The question I want to ask is, so what does it mean to be Jewish? One element of what it means to be Jewish, to be part of a Jewish community, would you agree with that? And I think that's what draws many non-Jews to want to be part of the Jewish people, is that sense of community, of relationship, of families, and to the larger whole. Their first interaction with things Jewish is not about kashrut, it's not about prayer, it's about community moments, right, in which they feel something special going on. Almost 20 years ago, political scientist Robert Putnam, some of you may have read a book that he wrote called Bowling Alone. And what he talked about was that in America, you can see the shift from activities like bowling leagues, some of you may be old enough to remember them, and other group activities that now people do on their own. Right? Urban sprawl and suburbs have drawn people away from town squares and from a sense of community, and so people now bowl alone. Right? That's the infirmity. We yearn for a sense of community. We do, and yet we find it in fewer and fewer places. The truth is, community is not just being around lots of people. Right? You can be sometimes in a stadium with 100,000 people and not feel that you're part of a community at all. Especially, by the way, if you're rooting for the other team. But if you are a Dodgers fan, right, attending a game at Dodger Stadium, Chazan Mimi, right, it can be considered a communal experience. But what is the community value? The Dodgers, they used to be a good team. Well, this may be a fun community to be part of. In the end, is it related to the values of how you live your life? You've heard me say many times that just because the West Valley, and in particular Calabasas, has lots of Jewish people, that it does not make it a Jewish community. It just makes it a place with a lot of Jews. It's a sense of belonging and the common purpose that come from a Jewish community so much more powerful. It has the power of purpose. It has a sustaining power to be able to create relationship. It's just different from a gathering of people. Just look at our history, and you'll see that Judaism and the Jewish people survived because of the strong concept of community. I want to take you back to the 6th century BCE. The Babylonians, they conquer Judea, and they take away a great segment of the population to Babylonia into exile. Now remember, all they have to connect them to their purpose of Israelites is their sacrifices, their temple. And now in Babylonia, they have nothing. Will they survive without that sacred relationship? What do? They gather together, and they call the place that they gather a Beit Knesset. Today, what we call a synagogue. Beit Knesset means a house of gathering. They gathered together, and they read from a document. They read from a scroll that talked about their sacred ancestors and a covenant that they had with God. And it talked about the relationship and guidelines of what it meant to be Jewish. And that document, you might have guessed, evolved and became our Torah. Without that document, without gathering, I don't think that community would have survived 50 years to come back and rebuild the temple. You see, you have to have your sacred center. Without that, a community will stop being a community. And then 600 years later, in the year 70, the destruction of the Second Temple, with the concept of a Beit Knesset, that synagogue, the rabbis add the idea of a minyan. Many of you know what a minyan is. That you need 10 people in order to have a complete community. Without those 10 people, you cannot read Torah in public. You can't read some of our most important prayers. You can't recite the mourner's Kaddish. You can't mourn. Because no one should mourn without a community. It gives context. You see, that's how we've survived. It's a sense of connection to the sacred. Last year, United Synagogue, the organization of conservative synagogues, it's the organization that binds us all together, they set out to consider a change in bylaws to allow people who are not Jewish to be members, who are related to Jewish people in the congregation. And that sounds to you like nothing special, because we've been doing it at Temple Aliyah for 20 years, acknowledging this. But United Synagogue, until a couple years ago, did not permit it in its bylaws. And I was vice chair of a national commission because they knew the work that we had done here. We changed the bylaws. But in doing so, we focused on two different concepts: the idea of community and the idea of covenant. It was new language to think about relationship. So what's community? Community is the feeling of connectedness to an extended group. It's the feeling that there are people who are there to celebrate the good times and to be there in the difficult times. It's the feeling that you're not alone. Covenant, on the other hand, is a sense of purpose felt by each individual of the community that gives that community the sense of who it is. It's this sense of purpose that allows community to sustain itself from one generation to another. Without that sense of purpose, you won't sustain the sense of community. When you are part of a covenant, you believe that your actions make a difference. By the way, our life cycles create that context. So, for example, a Brit Milah, right, the circumcision or the baby naming of a girl, it's not just the celebration of the beauty of life, is it? What do? We enter them into the covenant. Brit Milah or Brit Habat. See, it's the beginning of that relationship where we try and bind them and try and understand that that's the purpose we now endow into this little thing that doesn't understand it yet. And then later, for bar and bat mitzvah, it's not just a celebration of adolescence. By the way, if it's a celebration of adolescence, we'd probably just lock them in a closet. Right? Just take them out occasionally, maybe, if they're nice. But what do? We put them in front of a Torah, that sacred document that's about covenant, and we remind them that they're part of that covenant, and that you now have to step up into it and understand it a little bit more. But do most bar and bat mitzvah understand that concept? No. But we hope they'll grow into it. Community will make you feel good about what you are doing. That community will do that. But covenant gives your life purpose. That's how you get defined. Many of you are probably here today for that sense of Jewish community. For some of you, it will be an important sense of being part of the Jewish people, a reminder that the Jewish soul that nurtures you. But the question we have to ask is, do you feel covenanted? You see, here at Temple Aliyah, I think we do a great job of community. Right? When you walk in here, you're going to feel part of a community. When you walk into Shabbat services, you will feel welcomed, even if you are a stranger walking in. If you've dealt with difficult issues in life, if you have had a loss, if you've had an illness in your family, you've probably felt our community of caring reach out to you. See, that's what community is about, and we're good at that. What I'd love us to be able to do even better is to feel that sense of covenant, to feel the sense of the holy purpose of what we're doing. See, the Hebrew word for covenant is brit. It came to symbolize the essence of what it means to be Jewish, namely that we're a covenanted people. So I want to explore two of the britot, of the covenants that we have in the Torah. There's a number of them. I want to start first with Abraham and the Brit Milah. And so God tells him that you will circumcise yourself, by the way, 99 years old. Now, if that's not commitment, I don't know what is. All right? You're going to become a great and mighty nation. That's what God tells him. We're going to establish a covenant of purpose with you. And Abraham, he has to understand what that means. His name has changed. Some of you may know or may not that Abraham's first name was Avram and Sarah's first name was Sarai. And it was when they received and became part of the covenant and understood that their names were changed to Avraham and Sarah, each added of the letter He to symbolize God. You see, that covenant became the very essence of their name and who they were. So what did Abraham do, by the way? Did he do anything in particular? I want to remind you of the beginning of the story of Abraham. And God comes to him and says, I want you to go. Go from your homeland of Ur. I want you to go to a place. I'm not going to tell you where yet. You're just going. Right? He didn't know what the plains of Canaan looked like. He didn't even have a son. And God says, I'm going to make you a mighty and great nation. Can you imagine the faith that took on Abraham? You see, he believed in that covenant. Only later did God formalize it through the Brit Milah. The second Brit I want to talk about, covenant, is at Mount Sinai. Most of you know this one. The Israelites who gather together, it's 400 years after Abraham, and they're brought together at Mount Sinai with more of what the covenant is about, the laws. It's about doing. That's what the laws represent. If you want any proof, how many laws are there, mitzvot, in the Torah, according to the rabbis? 613. You don't think that speaks about doing? It's not just about feeling. It's about doing. And so they are at Mount Sinai, and they are called together. And what does it mean to be part of that Jewish covenant? How do you connect to that idea of covenant? Do you feel covenanted, really? For some, it's Shabbat, holidays, kashrut. It's got to be the act of doing. And then it's up to us to go out in the world and make a difference, as we always have. But here's what I tell you that's really important to know. I believe the Jews, separated for that sense of purpose, will stop making the difference we have in the world. I have no question about that. And by the way, 2 generations from now, I don't know what we'll look like if we lose that sense of being covenanted. We're a community that's different from a social or athletic club because we live our lives through the values of doing and sharing. When the Israelites gathered at Mount Sinai, what did they say in response to the receiving of the covenant? They said, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do. The primacy there. First they said, we will do, and then they said, we will listen. It's about doing. And according to one midrash, or rabbinic tradition, each person at Mount Sinai understood that covenant and heard it differently. What does that mean? It means that it had to speak to the individual, that each person had to hear and feel it was calling to them. When we become part of the covenant, we've chosen blessings. We've chosen covenant. We've chosen meaningful life. It's that higher power that sustains us as individuals made in the image of God and the ability to bring godliness into the world. Whereas community is about belonging, covenant is about doing. In the Torah, the word for community is edah. That's how they refer to community over and over. Edah also, if you look in the dictionary, will mean testimony. Moradina, you know this, right? Edut, to give testimony. If you're ever at a Jewish wedding and you sign the ketubah, you are an aid. So what's the relationship between community and testimony? A real community gives testimony to God. We testify to some purpose that we have. That's why the word edah is used for community and for testimony. We're bound together, our hearts, our souls, in a common purpose. Rabbi David Wolpe wrote, quote, "A true edah, a congregation, is bound by love in pursuit of something higher than themselves. The connection is more powerful and lasting than fear. The survival of Jews is often foolishly attributed to being hate or fear." Some of you actually believe that. Many groups, though, he says, have been hated throughout history, and they are gone. The Jewish people survives because we are animated by the highest ideals and bound together by love. From its earliest days, Israel has been far more than a camp. We are a congregation. So some of you may ask, if you don't believe in God, if I don't believe in God, can I be part of the covenant? And I say yes. I know many people who have tenuous ideas about God, some who even reject the idea of God. But when you're connected to a community and you take on the sense of obligation and destiny with that community and understand that there's a sacred purpose of that community, then yes, I believe that you can be part of it and say Na'aseh v'nishma, but you have to do. You see, some people are just in the community as riders, by the way, right? They just are on for the ride. The people who define community are the ones that do. That's how you create community. People who do. And without those doers, community will pass away. Last week, we read from the Torah portion, Nitzavim. And it says this, some of you may know this section. You stand this day, I want you to listen to the repetition. You stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your tribal chiefs, your elders, your officials, all the men of Israel, your children, your wives, even the stranger within your camp, from wood chopper to water drawer, to enter into the covenant of the Lord your God. Moses is sharing this on the last day of his life. 40 years of wandering into the wilderness, right? 40 years. He's at the limit, at the border with Israel, about to go in. And he knows they have to re-accept the covenant. Because if this group of people doesn't accept the covenant before they go into land, Moses knows they'll never survive. So they accept this covenant. But why do we have this language of everybody? The wives, the water drawers, the children, everybody. Rabbinic tradition tells us to emphasize the individual. That each person counted. And they had to affirm that as well. You know, at Mount Sinai, when God spoke, he spoke in the singular second person. He addressed the commandments to you, not in, I guess, in Texas. Where's Jonathan, right? In Texas, how would you say the plural you? Y'all. God didn't say that at Mount Sinai, did he? He didn't say y'all are going to observe Shabbat. He didn't say y'all are going to observe and honor your parents. He didn't say y'all, he didn't, he said you. It wasn't a community, he was speaking to each individual. See, Moses is speaking to the individuals as they go into the land. See, my friends, Moses is speaking to you. He's speaking to me. He's calling us from thousands of years ago to enter into this covenant. The question is whether we hear it and whether we're going to say, Seve Eshma, I will do and I will listen. See, that's what has to happen today. Right? Isn't it easy to be distracted from covenant? So many things going on in our lives. You have hockey games and football games. You've got basketball. You've got theater. You've got running. We got everything. What about covenant? Sometimes we just don't have a sense of obligation. Isn't that a dirty word sometimes in our world? Nothing should be obligated. That's what covenant is. A sense of relationship and obligation and destiny that is shared. You see, during the High Holy Days, the vast number of our prayers are in the plural. We're part of a community, but I want to tell you that there has to be a moment in which you stand as an individual, in which you say, here I am, Hineni. And 7, Shema, I will do, I will hear. At the end, right, Moses calls them all together. And he speaks to them and he says, right, he says, you all stand here this day, not just those here, but also those not here. I already told you he called everybody there. He called the women, he called the drawbearer, he called everybody. Who wasn't there? You. See, I mean it. The rabbi said that Moses was talking about the future generations. Moses is calling you. We have to hear that call. It's not anti-Semitism that's kept us alive, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sense of that covenant. We have a purpose. To reaffirm that covenant, that's what we're here for. That might be why some of you are here, to feel that. See, I began the story of the sermon with the story of someone who asked, could it really be Jewish? But I guess we also ask the question whether it's possible to stop being a Jew. According to the rabbis, you know this, many of you, once you're born a Jew or you convert, you're always a Jew, correct? But when Jewishness is seen only as a birthright, just an accident of birth, it's easy to lose its meaning. Perhaps that's why you're here. Perhaps that's why we're all here. Maybe the High Holy Days is our new Mount Sinai. Do you feel the sense of being covenanted in a holy purpose? Maybe that's what we're doing here at Mount Sinai. Gather together to feel the potential of a life dedicated to blessings. Reaffirm covenant of our community. That's what I pray for you this year. I pray for you the sense of oneness with community, to feel embraced by it. But more than that, to feel covenanted, to feel that you have a purpose and that you can pass that purpose on to people around you. May it be a year of community, covenant, and blessing for us all. And let us say, Amen. We're going to continue with the Musaf service, and you'll have the booklets in front of you, the blessings of the shofar, and Rabbi Goldstein is going to take us through. But here's what I want to tell you. Some of you may have a booklet that was misprinted. All right, so the pages might look a little different, so you're going to have to follow along. Rabbi Goldstein will help you through it. By the way, we'll be giving away raffle prize at the end of services. But we will continue with the Musaf portion of the service.
Thank you, Rabbi Vogel. It's nice for Rabbi Vogel to take time out of his busy schedule from touring with the production of West Side Story to join us. Tonight. Anyway, we're going to continue, as Rabbi Vogel mentioned, in this booklet. The Musaf service with the shofar is divided into 3 sections. Malchuyot, the kingship of God; Zichronot, the memory of God; and Shofar wrote. Shofar wrote is the shofar. That's the easiest to describe and explain. Zichronot, the memory of God, is eternal. The first one we're going to come across is Malchuyot, the kingship of God. And for some of us, it's difficult. For some of us, it's difficult to picture God as a king. So let's not. Let's picture God differently. Let's picture God as a partner that we're standing in front of, a partner with whom we have a covenant, and we're asking for forgiveness from straying from that covenant. Over and over again, of all the books of the Torah, God's described as this distant king, ruler, deity. But there's one book in which God is different. And according to the great Rabbi Akiva, it's the holiest of all books. It's the Song of Songs, in which God is a partner, a lover, and a friend. And so as we listen to the shofar and we're woken up to be better people, let's stand in front of our partner. We're going to be in this booklet. It says blessings of the shofar on the top page. It says Malchuyot, Zichronot, and Shofarot. You have me? Good. Let's read together. The shofar is the unique symbol of the high holy days. It calls us today, and the shofar's notes try to move us to action. It is calling out to us to change. The Musaf service is divided into 3 sections, Malchuyot, Zichronot, and Shofarot, which provide the opportunity to hear 100 notes of the shofar. We pray that during these high holy days, we hear the urgency of each note and examine our lives. Let us take the time to check our priorities, remember who we are called to be, and find the strength to act on the call of the shofar. Ken Yehi Ratzon, so may it be God's will.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Let's turn to page, hopefully it's page 4 in your booklets, but it says the meditation on God's sovereignty. We'll read responsively. We all worship idols. We make our transitory needs into ultimate concerns. We are caught up in the busyness of our lives and then do not see beyond these concerns. There are essential questions which should never be too distant from us. What gives our lives meaning? How do we effectuate good? Facing these questions, we are open to greater concerns than our own neediness. Please rise as we say the blessing of the shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai Shema Melech kol haaretz Mekadesh.
Sing along. You know it.
Mekadesh Yisrael, Melech kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael, Melech kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael, Melech kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron.
Amen. Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Areshet Sefateinu
Yerav lefanecha el Rabbeinu. Areshet Sefateinu Yerav lefanecha el Rabbeinu.
We're now on the page with the Star of David where it says Zichronot. The middle section is called Zichronot, or Sacred Remembering. It is during this section that we are called to remember not only who we have been, but also who we are called to be. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidism, understood that memories and the ability to remember the past is the key to the future. Our memories, recollections, and remembrances are the key to our redemption, allowing us to unlock the unlimited potential of our divine spark, helping us to actualize our best selves.
The song we're going to sing, and I hope we're going to sing it together, are the words of Hazan Stein, V'zacharti. It's not a solo.
You may be
it's not the choir, so please sing with us.
You may be seated. For a moment.
Tasted your thirst in the desert and caused the water to flow. I heard your cry to return again from the rivers of Babylon. I made the walls of Jericho fall, and with my hand I stilled the sun. Let's hear you. ata Adonai. Zocher haberit.
Amen. Please rise. Tekiah. Shvarim Trua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shvarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Let's read together where it says, today is the birthday of the world. Today is the birthday of the world. On this day, all the world's creatures stand before you in judgment, some as children, some as servants. If you look upon us as children, then pity us as parents pity children. If you look upon us as servants, then we depend on your graciousness when you judge us, O revered and holy God.
Hayom harat olam, hayom ya'amid b'mishpat kol yitzurei olamim. Im kevanim, im ka'avadim, im kavanim rachameinu kerachim avabanim. Ve'im ka'avadim einenu lecha teluyot ad she'chanenu v'totzi orka mishpatenu ayom
You may be seated. The third section that calls us to action and repentance is shofarot, the sounding of the shofar. This part of the shofar service recalls the many different occasions and celebrations when we as a people have heard the sound of the ram's horn. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, the blast of the shofar lifted our people to a new relationship with God. Our covenant, our Torah, was revealed against the blasts of the shofar. The sounds of the shofar call us to action, call us to fulfill our commitments, and call us to partner with God to create a better world. Let's read responsively. It says, the shofar calls us. The shofar sounds a call to wholehearted tshuva, summoning us to humbly return to God. The shofar sounds a call of liberation, recalling our people's journey from slavery to freedom. The shofar proclaims the strength of Jewish freedom and identity as our people live freely in our own land and write the next chapters of our journey.
The shofar sounds.
Okay, so this is why I'm not crazy about responsive readings. One of the reasons is you don't know which line's yours, I don't know which line's mine all the time. The other is if you listen to the responsive reading, it's with all the passion of the tax code. We are in humble awe of you, God. You are amazing. So let's read this together on the top of that page where it says the shofar sounds, and we'll read it together, and we'll actually put some oomph in it, all right? All right. The shofar sounds the hope for the coming of God's rule, when justice and peace will reign throughout the world. All right, let's try the next one together. May we answer the shofar's call by nurturing this hope and by living in a manner that will hasten its fulfillment. Amen. That was awesome.
Baruch atah Adonai, shomei kol teruah, mo Yisrael barachamim.
Amen. Yeah, that's right. Stand up. Stand up. One last time. Tekiah. Shavarim Truah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shavarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah.
Reshet Sifateinu Yerav Lefanecha El Rabbeinu Isa. Reshet Sifateinu Yerav Lefanecha El Rabbeinu Isa. Me'vinu mazin ma'vidu makshib lekol tekiah teinu utikabel berachamim uvratzon seder shofroteinu.
Don't sit down. Don't sit down. And by the way, Rabbi Vogel wasn't kidding. There is something at the end if you stay. So don't sit down. Instead, get together. Wrap yourselves, if you have a talit, wrap your neighbor in your talit, wrap your friends, your family in your talit, and we're going to do the priestly blessing, a blessing that is thousands of years old and has been given to our people throughout all times.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May the Lord bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the Lord show you kindness and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May the Lord bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. And let's read the final prayer in this B'Sefer Chaim. Let's sing it all together.
B'Sefer Chaim beracha v'shalom u'farnasa tova nizacher v'nikatev lechanecha.
Don't sit down yet. We're now going to put these aside, all right? And we're going to take out these. Don't worry if yours is not as large. We're going to turn to page 336, and we're going to talk about this day, Hayom, today. Hayom, we need strength, we need blessings. So we're going to sing, we're going to open the ark on page 336, and we're going to sing for blessings and strength today.
Hayom, 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 hayom te'am seinu.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom tevarchenu.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom tikolei.
Everybody, Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom kiddushenu letova.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom tikavenu l'chaim tovim. Amen. Hayom, 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 hayom tishma shabbatenu.
Everybody, Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom tikabel berachamim uvratzon et tfilatenu.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom tivenu inzikecha.
Amen.
Hayom tikarvenu lavotecha letov lanu kol yamim l'chayotenu kayom hazeh ustakau v'racha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom yiyeh lanu v'chol Yisrael ad ha'olam.
You may be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai oseh ha'shalom. All right, ready to have some fun? Do the responses with the choir.
All right, we are on page 338 for the Kaddish, which means we're almost done. All right.
Don't leave.
I'm not joking. I'm serious.
Yit gadol v'yit kadash shemei rabba
Amen.
be'alma difrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'amol amei amaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yittadar v'yittaleh v'yittala shemei dekudesha shemei dekudesha la'ela la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'ama tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imru titgabal saloton uva'utehon decho Yisrael kodam avuhon devisham
up. Good.
Just in time.
All right, we'll redo the whole, we'll start from the beginning then. Or we'll turn to page 340 for Ein Keloheinu.
I vote for that.
You vote for that? Okay, let's do that.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kelokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadoneinu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, No Del Eloheinu, No Del Adoneinu, No Del Emalkeinu, No Del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shektiru Avoteinu, Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim.
Page 342, Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu ki goyei ha'aratzot, velo zamanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'kor aleinu kechohamonam, va'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu note shamayim ve'oser haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'ah u'shchinatu zo b'gov hemeromi hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu zulato kakatu b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elev avecha ki Adonai hua Elohim b'shamayim ima'ah ve'haaretz mitachat ein od Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom ha'hu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo
You may be seated. In just a moment, we're going to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Those who are in mourning, those who are commemorating a yard site. In our community, we had a lot of loss this year. And we feel that loss, and that's part of what community is. We don't get to choose our family, but we can make family in a place like this, in a holy community such as this. I had the opportunity to see somebody in the earlier service whom I haven't seen in a decade, but who wanted to be here for high holiday services. That's how much it meant to them, because of the connections they had made in this community. And so when we rise for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 346, we recite the Kaddish not only for those family members who were saying Kaddish, our personal Kaddish, but as a community, remembering those whom we lost, those who are still with us, even though their presence is not here. If you have a need or desire to say the Mourner's Kaddish, please rise on page 346. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach leolam ulmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shmei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela u'le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Just a couple of announcements. This Sunday, September 24th, from 4 to 6 p.m., we're doing Tashlich at the beach. Tashlich is, I know there are many people here who don't need it, but if you have sins, it's when we throw the bread into the water. But I know that doesn't apply to anybody here, but if you think it might, from 4 to 6 p.m. on Sunday at Zuma Beach, Lifeguard Tower 5.
Very important. So when you go to Lifeguard Tower, sometimes you can go to the right or you can go to the left. This is not a political endorsement. Right. It's on the left side, okay? You'll see it.
All right, we're not yet. Facing the water. We're going to be doing it in the water, okay?
With our rabbinic.
Throw rye, pumpernickel, white bread, Wonder Bread, I don't know, whatever you want. So there's a story of a rabbi who is praying the high holidays. And he gives a speech. His sermon is all about nullifying ourselves. It's about Yom Kippur, how we nullify ourselves. We make ourselves into nothing. We don't eat, we don't drink, and we just try to undo everything we've done. And so he gives this sermon, and he's inspired by his own sermon, and he looks, and he's praying so fervently, and he's praying, and tears are coming down his face. And he looks at the cantor, and the cantor is praying by themselves. They're praying, and tears are coming down the cantor's face, and his heart wells up. And then he looks and he sees the synagogue president. And he sees the synagogue president welling up and crying and nullifying himself. And he turns to the cantor and says, "Look who thinks he's nothing." All right, not my favorite. Sorry, we're the former president. Sorry about that. Sorry, Julie. I mentioned at the end that we would, this is actually serious. This is a time of repentance. This is a time of apologizing and doing better. And one thing I've wanted to do in coming, I've been here a year, and a year ago I stood here and I didn't know anybody. And now I know some of you. Some of you through simchas, through happy occasions, some of you through tragedies. And I said if you stayed, you'd get something. So, this year, 5778, if you'd like, I am going to take all of you individually out for coffee. I want to get to know, there are so many people whom I've gotten to know and love in this community, and I want to get to know you all. Rabbi Vogel talked about how important community and covenant is, and having a strong relationship is incredibly important to that. So, well, you know, you show up for high holiday service and you get a heckler. I should have known. I should have. Let's conclude our service. I'm actually serious. So if you make, sorry, Lisa, you're going to get swamped. But you have to take advantage of it. You got to make an appointment, and we'll go for coffee on me. All right. So we conclude our service on page 348 with Adon Olam.
Asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa v'chefso melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlotako levado yimloch nora vehu haya vehu hove vehu yeh betifara. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Vehu echad ve'en sheni lehamshilo lehachbira beli reshit beli tachlit velo ha'oz ve'hamisra vehu eli ve'chai goali ve'tzur chevli ve'etzara vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi beyom ekra. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Biyado avkid ruchi ve'et ishan ve'aira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, Shana tova umituka. L'shana tova tikatevu, l'shana tova tikatevu, tikatevu, v'tefratemu. Shana tova, good yontif, see you on Kol Nidre night.
What's the call tomorrow? Don't have it. Get something. Tomorrow. I don't know, but yes, this, oh yeah, this morning, we got here at 9:30.
I'm thinking 10 o'clock. Service starts